This is a beautiful before and after, right? And part of it is because she's got deep set eyes, and I lifted her eyebrows, focusing above the brow line. So if you have deep set eyes and you like your eyebrows, but it can be a little bit more lifted, a little fuller, this is your video. So you want to stick around and see how I lifted her eyebrows. Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me. So this is all about a brow lift. And you know what? Most of the models I show you, or most of the technique, will always incorporate a little bit of a brow lift, because I think all of us can benefit from that, no matter the age or just how little or a lot of hair you have. So you definitely want to stick around and see how I lifted her eyebrows, because that's going to be mainly just the focus. Lifting the eyebrows, making such a big impact, but it's not going to be that difficult. This is why I have this YouTube channel, to show you the little things you can do to make a big difference. So if you feel like you've been helped and you know someone else that can be helped by some of my techniques, definitely pass this along. So without further ado, let's get into the model. So the reason why the brows look pretty good already is that it's really full up in the front. If you see right over here at the side, I'm kind of turning her head over the side because I want you to see that her brow bone, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, her brow bone comes out a little bit and her eyes go deeper in, which is why it's a deep set eye, right? So right underneath, once it was shaped, it makes such a big difference right underneath there. So I lifted that area up just to kind of give it more of a balance. It's still thick up in the front, but then the rest of the eyebrows don't look as thin. You want that balance, especially when you can afford to trim off or tweeze some of that hair down below. So the highlighter is always important to use before applying makeup on the eyebrows, especially when you're needing a lift. And highlighter to me as that guideline as well. Underneath, because her brow bone comes out, her eyes go further in, I have a monolid. So I don't have that, but you know, we always try to do our makeup to make it look like this. Well, at least we have, or I have in the past. Okay, so the highlighter, again, it gives you the lift. It adds a little bit of a light guideline, but it just really gives it a clean look. And sometimes you might have to just do the highlighter, or just do the highlighter underneath the eyebrows, and it just kind of makes you look like, you know what, I already did the eyebrows. Because that contrast with the highlighter and then the hair just gives it kind of you could even see with my eyebrows, it just gives that separation. So that's why I usually tell my clients, try to use the highlighter first. You may feel like you don't need that much color. So the Brow Wiz in Taupe, roll it out to just about this long. If you're using a retractable pencil like this and it's this thin, you don't want to obviously go too long, because you could snap the pencil. But I often like to show this because this is how long, as long as I would go. But even a little shorter is fine. So again, now I go right in the middle of this eyebrow. You notice that I almost never go right up in the front. If I go right up in the front, that pressure tends to be a little harder. So if you start in the middle, and here's the important part, I'm just drawing a little outline above that area. Now, you might be wondering, I don't know where my arch is. Try to use the pinch of the nose, which is right over here, and go over the pupil, right over here, and then that is your arch. But if you just draw the eyebrows in first, you might just kind of see your brows come to life because that highlighter is down below. And so right over there at the angle, and I'm using my right hand going over my eyebrows, my left eyebrow that is, so that way you can see how this can be done easier, right? Notice that the pencil's laying down. So on this side, of course, I would go just easily this way, right? Okay, so I do put a little bit of color underneath, just a tiny bit, just to add that balance of color, but it's up there. Now, right over here, again, just go higher, not much higher, because I'm actually following the natural brow line. So go higher, but don't go much higher. But follow what your brow bone is letting you do. Sometimes you may not have it great or even, but just to get that color on there, even if you don't want to do the measurement, it really helps you to visualize what you're doing. So going right over at the corner, make sure it's over at the corner, not in the middle. And then it comes to life, right? That's when you can fill inside the eyebrows. Now this right here in the front, I slowed this down because I want you to see that I'm just laying the pencil straight across. Laying the pencil, look how I'm holding the pencil this way, straight across. By doing this, you're allowing the pencil to go on, right? But you're not putting that much pressure. And I'm just filling inside that outline, mainly applying heavier pressure slightly towards the end of the eyebrow, but not much up in the front. That's very important because you don't want the front to be too dark. And remember, she had quite a bit of hair up in the front, just not that much towards the end, which is why you can afford to press a tiny bit harder. Although this is a taupe pencil, it's a kind of a light medium color. She can get away with a little bit of a darker color as well, as long as the pressure isn't that hard. I'm using the ash brown on myself if you're my coloring, but on her, taupe is probably a universal color, just about on everybody, really. So again, so beautiful, right? And look at this, right at the top area. I always like to smooth it out with the brush 18, which is why I say to just go for it. Apply the color over the eyebrows, see where you think your arch is. If you think that one side is a tiny bit higher than the other, and again, I'm going back and forth. I'm not just doing the whole eyebrow on one side and then getting to the other. You can have it too uneven, right? So then you're just doing catch up. So you're doing a little bit here, and again, this helps the brows to come to life, so that way you see where the unevenness is. And if you like, you can put a little bit of highlighter above the eyebrows. I do that quite a bit, and then go over it with the brush just to smooth out even further. So this is when you make that adjustment where it's like, oh, too high, too low, one side. This is why this is really important. Now, I'm using a clear brow gel on this model, but I kind of thought, I could also get away with using a brow freeze. The freeze is harder, meaning it'll hold the hair much better. Okay, so this is why I love before and afters because it's such a big difference, right? The reason why I love it is because it looks natural, right? And trust me, when her eyes are open, her eyes are closed just to protect her. But when her eyes are open, it just opens up her eyes because she felt like her brows were just going too low. And when she opened her eyes, there wasn't much space on the eyelid. So she liked her brows being thinner because she felt like it opened her eyes, but she realized it was just going too low. That's why a brow lift is always important. That's why I emphasize a brow lift. I should coin that. It's actually not coined. I should just make it like it's my title now. I should steal that title, right? Because it's such an important part of a brow repertoire. And that's something I put in almost every brow video, is this beautiful brow lift. Now you can see how important a brow lift is. Because as we age, we need more of a lift, right? Going against gravity. And if you're not at that stage in life, whatever brow you have, I think anyone can benefit from a brow lift by adding color above the brow line and blend, blend, blend. So try that out if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments if that is your thing now, right? And that you learned that from me. And which is why I love YouTube, because I'm able to reach so many of you, because obviously not everyone can come to the salon and get my services. So this is the next best thing. And that engagement helps me, helps YouTube to let me know I'm doing the right thing. And all the products will be written in the descriptions. Some of them will be tagged for your convenience in shopping. That helps me as well. But that's why the descriptions are important, because I will be listing all the colors and including my makeup. So that way you guys have that as well. Let me know. Let me know if I'm doing the right thing. So that way I keep producing these videos. And I will see you guys next week.